All right, so welcome to the XXL podcast, Moments of Clarity. Special guest Jim Jones today. Ramon's not with us, but Shy is. Shy, you want to take it off? Go for it.
Definitely. I always look forward to speaking to this young man right here, Mr.
Shy,
Jim Jones.
how you feeling, Shy?
Everything is going great, man. It's been cool, man. Like, even though I haven't physically seen you in damn near a year, we've been able to catch up every now and then during this whole pandemic hiatus and whatnot, and I'm happy to see that everything is going great. I probably got to kick it off first talking about this new TV venture, man. You and Puff, how you loving that?
That's good. I mean, shouts to Puff, shouts to the whole Revolt, shouts to my team of people that I work with every week. Very dope young individuals, very creative. They very good at what they do with the production and making sure I get the best show out that we could possibly do. But something I started a few years ago. I believe like Hurricane Irma, something like that, down in Miami. Was stuck there with Chrissy. And I stuck with it, hit it every now and then, just for the laugh, give people something to laugh at, and it felt like something that could turn it into something that people want to stand. And shout out to Diddy for understanding what we're doing and gave me a chance. Shout out to Detavio also over there at Revo. He been working with me for the past couple of years trying to get the show on the road and things like that. And he definitely said that let's when I finish doing what I'm doing up at Revo, let's revisit what we got, because we definitely have a great show concept. So you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's where we at.
But besides you being like one of the great business minds that we've seen in the game, you've been able to work with the top of the top echelon, man, of when it comes to doing business. Hove, Puff specifically, Kevin Lyles, of course, one of the great executives. So many different peoples. What's the main thing that everybody has in common? The people that you work for, like these top executives. What's like the through line? What do they all have in common that you've noticed?
They all full of shit. What you want me to say, bro? You dig? With a few exceptions and shit like that, everybody in this game is full of shit, man. This game ain't built on nothing solid. This game is built on people taking advantage and taking what they want and getting what they need, being in the right place at the right plan, and keeping their alliances together and shit like that, man. I haven't learned anything that was too positive from this game out of too many positive people. People act like they're positive because they got money. When they got money, everything's a little bit different. You dig? Them same people without a dollar wouldn't be shit. But that's a whole nother conversation. And I'm not talking about one person in particular. I'm just talking about what the game does to you and shit like that. I'm not here for no more rhetoric of fluffing people up and making people feel good about this industry that we've been in. Because if I wasn't a hustling motherfucker, the industry would have kissed me goodbye a long time ago. You dig? So I have no regards of really giving a fuck about anybody's feelings in this game anymore. I built myself up from the bottom, from the very bottom, into a position where nobody can stop me from what I'm doing and shit like that. And I'm in a great position right now and shit like that. You dig? The one thing that people do have in this game all together is greed. We all gluttons for money. You heard? There's no way around that, even myself. You want to ask another question?
You know it. I want to go in, man. I want to just talk about how you learn how to navigate that, man, because, Jim Jones now is definitely different from, a younger Jim Jones, and not even a younger Jim Jones. I'll just talk about some of the younger guys that have come into the game, and they've dealt with executives. We heard stories about a young Ice Cube dealing with executives and coming in there and breaking stuff with baseball bats and everything, and that might not have necessarily been conducive to get where he needed to go, and he had to actually had to navigate these offices with a lot more savvy. When did you start picking up your savvy and really learn how to go through these things? Because you've been able to get bags from a lot of people, Jim.
Yeah, I've been blessed. Savvy comes with age. Savvy comes with time. Savvy comes with mistakes. savvy comes with experience. You got to go through some shit to understand what savvy is. You got to be in that position to understand why you would need savvy and shit like that. And there's been numerous times that I chose not to use savvy and end up not going the way that I would need it to and shit like that. And at this point in my life, for me to get where I got to go, I can't possibly repeat the things that I was doing as a youngster. You know what I mean? It comes to a point as a man, I put away my childish ways and I start putting my best foot forward. Now, that doesn't take away from who I am or none of the things that I've done, you know what I mean? Or any things that I've been through in this industry. And I wouldn't want nobody to play with me because I still, it wouldn't be conducive to you to play with me in any shape, form, or fashion. You heard? You dig? But for the most part, I'm just trying to keep it positive and do a lot of things that I like to do now. I find myself in a very peculiar space that I haven't been in a long time, and I feel good. I feel good about my creative processes. It's not just about the music; it's about business and shit like that. You know what I mean? So, I'm just at a different place in life, man, and totally. You know what I mean? Like, I've been through a lot. I thank the Lord every day for me being here because I don't know how I'm still here. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. Most of my friends are dead in jail. There's very few friends that I have left that's been around since I've been young and shit like that. You know what I mean? So I think about a lot. I think about my son. I think about trying to make sure when I leave this earth, my son is straight no matter what. And I know that's not my responsibility. My responsibility is to raise him to be the best man he can be. But I'm a real father. I want to leave a legacy and money for him when I get out of here and shit like that. So he don't have to worry about too much though. Got a lot on my mind, and we in a position to do that. We in a game that makes people more richer than they will ever be in their fucking life and shit like that. And it's easy to make the money, but it's harder to keep the money. And at this point in my life, I'm learning how to keep the money, and it's starting to feel good.
Absolutely. That the financial literacy is something that I've been talking to a lot of people about, man, because it's something that we really gotta, as Black people, you see the times that we in, and you see everything that's going on. We just saw a young man get shot down several times and killed right in front of his mother out in Philadelphia yesterday. You know, I know you saw that. I know you're in tune with the gram, man. So, you know, these are times when we gotta not just be active with action, but we need some money to back us, man, to build up these neighborhoods and to get some of our own, man, because it's getting real crazy and it's been like that for a long time.
Well, we're gonna need some brave people of power. You dig? And the fact that you said we're gonna need money is exactly what it is. I know we got a lot of freedom fighters out there, a lot of people that Black activists and Black power, but my youngsters ain't they need to see something they can follow. And it's sad, but we need money for them youngsters to follow in the right footsteps. They need to see that they could benefit from certain things and shit like that. Like, we had a fucked up state, man. It's protect yourself or you might get hurt. They say stay safe, but in my hood, they say stay dangerous is way better than staying safe. Like, it's this real bad out there for Black people. I talk to my son about it all the time, about when he gets come into police contact and things like that, and how he should react and how he should talk to the cops, and you know what I mean. And it's every day when I walk outside, I think about if I run into police contact, how the fuck am I gonna react to that shit? Like, the other day, police tried to tell me something about my house, about a fucking fire alarm. They thought they was coming in my house. You want to tell me that, no, this policy. Bitch, policy ain't law. You don't get the fuck away from my house. We're going to really get into what law is about and shit like that. So, it's bad out here, man. So I encourage everybody to do their best, put their best foot forward. But we need to unify. We need a lot of powerful leaders that's willing to take a chance, powerful leaders that have power and money and shit like that.
Do you believe in all the voting and everything and all the hype of everything going on now in the election, or do you think that is a bunch of bullshit?
I don't believe that none of them presidents could do 10 push-ups. So who the fuck am I voting for? You did? Let's not get into that type of politics, because I don't feel like hearing people talk to me all day about politics and shit like that, because I really don't care about Biden and I really don't care about Trump. But I got a few views about both of them. And as much as people hate Trump, he puts his cards on the table. He lets you all see what he's playing, what he's been doing that. Who knows what Biden's ulterior motives is? And Kamala Harris, she's a Black queen. But if you dig into what she's done for the Black community, it hasn't been the best. It hasn't been the best for our Black community when, you count all the people that she has locked up while she was in the ring, and then all the people that has been locked up under her for marijuana charges and shit like that, and some of these people still are locked up for marijuana charges. So there's a lot of different things with politics. That's why I tell people, get your money, stay disciplined. I don't think that anything that's going to happen in this presidency is going to help you out at all. It's like it's a big shit show.
With all the states that have benefited, every state that we've seen that's legalized marijuana, seems like they benefited. Why do you think, and I know you're a big marijuana proponent, why do you think it takes so long for the whole federal government to get in the business with marijuana? Why is it state by state? Why is New York hasn't done it yet? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's just politics. So they put marijuana on the bill as a drug that's just as strong as heroin and shit like that. So that's what's been going on for so many years, that people begin locked up for a bullshit drug. But on the state side, they said that drug was just as powerful as heroin. Counting it down from there, and they start figuring out how lucrative the shit could be. And they start legalizing it state by state. Every state got their own different laws, so every state is a little different for it to get legalized, and a little different paperwork and shit like that. Got a marijuana company, we legal inside of California and in Portland, Oregon, whatever, which one is the state and shit like that. But every state got different provisions and shit for you to get your weed inside that state. And if you want to have weed inside that state, you got to grow the weed inside that state. It's just a lot of different rules that they set up. But I can tell you this, that marijuana is probably one of the fastest growing money makers that we've seen since the .com boom and shit like that. So I encourage everybody to try to figure out how to get inside the marijuana business thing. I definitely encourage all my black and brown people to try to figure out how to get inside these marijuana businesses, because it's very lucrative to learn more, do your due diligence, whatever it is you need to do. You might not be able to be an owner, but there's so many ways that you can infuse yourself into the marijuana business for you to make some money, in which I encourage you to do. And then there's a whole slew of medical benefits that we've been going back and forth for years of people telling us how great marijuana is for all illnesses and things like that. So, I'm happy to be inside of the marijuana business. Plus, it's something I've been using since I've been 15 years old. And, it's been helping me out with my anxiety. You dig? And my depression, shit like that.
Yeah. Damn, it's a few things to unpack. I want to ask you first, Jim, like, what do some of the homies on the inside think? Some that might have went down for selling marijuana and be involved in things of that nature. What do they think when now they see that it's legalized? We see you and we see Kim and so many other of our comrades in the hip hop community just really get into it and taking it over. But what do the people that actually had to go to jail, like, after suffer for, before all of this was legalized, what do they think? Like, what's some of the conversations you had with some of the homies?
I mean, I haven't really had a conversation with anybody per se about that. I know a few people that have been locked up for those type of charges, and to come home to see how this is all legal and they can't get that time back for the same things they wouldn't have been charged with and today and shit like that is what they got charged with. So I know it can't feel good. And then we still have lots of people that's locked up for marijuana charges and shit like that in different states that need to be free, because everybody else, they letting everybody else out because marijuana is being not a charge anymore. But one thing I can say from all of this, for a lot of the people that's locked up, they have an equity program, and they turn around and give these same people that have been locked up for them same marijuana charges a chance to get their own dispensary, a chance to get their own licenses. Now, granted, it takes money, but it is a start, you know what I mean? So you got to take what you got sometimes, but that is a very great thing that the government had turned around and did for people that have been locked up for those same marijuana offenses. And, I think they should continue on into those narratives and create more programs for people that are still locked up and people that are coming home and people that have lost time due to something that is not even a charge no more, damn near.
That's incredible, man. Jim, you mentioned depression and anxiety a few minutes ago, man. And I actually, during this whole pandemic, I've actually had friends that were challenged by that, suffering that. I actually had a friend that committed suicide dealing with that during these past few months. What's some of the things that you could tell some of the kids or even some of the adults, man, that's watching this, that may be suffering through it, and really don't know what to do when it comes to that?
Don't be scared to talk to somebody. I ain't saying talk to a psychiatrist, but don't be scared to talk to somebody. If you got a friend that you trust in, if you got a partner that you trust in, somebody that you tell that person that, yo, I don't know what's going on. I'm going through something. I need you to, you got to talk to somebody. You know what I mean? As Black people, we don't know the outlets and where to go and things like that, but you need to talk to somebody. Don't hold that shit in, man. Maybe talk to your moms and shit like that. Figure some shit out. And then from there, try to you know, Google some shit and shit like that. But anxiety is a real situation and shit like that. Like I didn't really know how much I've been affected with anxiety in my life. And so recently, in my recent years and shit like that, and I've been going through this shit since a child and shit like that. And
you didn't know what it is, or why? How did you not know? You didn't know what it was? There wasn't a name for it, or what?
I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what that feeling was and shit like that. You dig? Like, for so long in my life, I masked so many things and shit like that. And those feelings were one of them. Even as a child and shit like that, you get them feeling like I used to run out of school when I was like 3rd and 4th grade. I just leave the whole school, just run full speed out of school and go home and shit like that. So it just, but I didn't know what that was at the time. I chalked it up to how I was living, how I was coming up, the things that was against me moving from home to home and my family and shit like that. That's what I was more or less chalking it up as, but it was a real thing called anxiety and depression and shit like that, what I was going through as a child. No matter how many smiles and I had on my face and things like that, there was something I was going through that I should have had help with from a young age, and I didn't. So, you know, I encourage everybody to try to find them some help, or at least try to talk to somebody.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, man. And, you know, it's coming out more because what's interesting, man, is we've been seeing, you know, more and more people in the entertainment field. I'm not just talking about making music. I'm talking about professional athletes. I even saw where one of the wrestlers, you know, before he would go out to have a wrestling match, he would actually have anxiety and couldn't compete, which is you know, it's tough. It's tough. And I think as far as depression, I think the first time I ever heard a rapper talk about depression was Scarface, when he said that he was diagnosed to be a manic depressant. And I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like it just that's when it really hit me that it could happen to anybody.
Man, 90% of artists and athletes have depression.
Right.
Due to the fact of trying to excel to be the best at your craft. And sometimes you do excel to get to that top of the mountain. But once you fall, the fight to get back is filled with nothing but anxiety and depression from our side. And then you mask everything with buying cars and jewelry to make sure everybody still think you lit and popping and shit like that. And you want everybody to see I'm still out here like that, when deep down inside you fighting to get back on top of a spot that you probably won't get to again. You know what I mean? And until you come to reality with that in your life as an artist, you're going to go through a lot more depression and anxiety trying to keep up with being the man, or trying to continue with being the man and shit like that. Like, you know, so you ask any artist, they probably don't even think they going through it, but you're going through it, bro. It's something like a midlife crisis for the hip hop game and shit like that. And that's why we do so much outlandish shit when it comes to spending money and being extreme and shit like that.
Yeah, now imagine, you know, you say midlife crisis. Now imagine some of the past generation artists and MCs that their career was taking a down decline at like 25, 26 years old. You know what I'm saying? It was their career, you know, they might have been popping at like 17, 18, 19. Then at like 25, people start saying your career is over. You're not popping no more now. That's...
What do you do next? Yeah.
Jesus
When
Christ.
you a dub in this game, you a dub. If the kids consider you to be a dub, it's over for you. And how do you come back from that? You right. If you're not comfortable in who you are, that can knock you out your socks to a point where you ain't no coming back. Like hip hop is for artists like ourselves is like having superpowers. Like I really mean that. And you got some artists that have more power than other, but it's like having superpowers, and you get to a point you strip to those superpowers, man, make you want to jump off the roof or something. And for a lot of people and shit like that, you know what I mean? Like you go from having everything that you want at your fingertips to not having anything at all, not having people saying your name, asking for pictures. So, you know what I mean? Like, you get lost so fast in this game, and there ain't no coming back. And you fight every day to try to get back. I mean, like, so it's so many artists I watch coming up in this industry. I've been in this shit since 1997. I've seen multiples and multiples of artists come in this game and go platinum and are now broke and nowhere to be found. And if you do see them, you don't recognize them because they don't play the part of a superhero anymore.
Right. You're right. Dave, there was a clip I saw on the gram maybe 2 days ago with Dave Chappelle, and he was just asking the people that was doing the interview. He was like, just imagine, you know, for the people that's watching this, just imagine you having to go to work and your job being based on other people's opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you athlete, it's either you still got the jump or you don't. You still could put up 20 points. You still could put up, you know, at least 15 points. As at some point, your body is gonna give out on you being a professional athlete. With an artist, it's not just your mind. It's, you know it, Jim. It's not just if you're making dope music or not. It's just so many things that goes into it. You know what I'm saying? Are the people still like you saying? Are they still buying into you at a certain point, man? And it's all subjective. It's all subjective. It's not a scientific fact that this record is a hit and it should sell X amount. This record is a dub. It shouldn't. It's all subjective. It's, man, what a crazy life you've chosen, Jim Jones.
But it's a great life. I mean, one thing that I can't say is that I chose to do everything independent. So for me, I did about 98% of the things my way. You know what I mean? And 2%, I had to bend a little bit and shit like that. So I'm very happy for the independent artists that I am, and didn't have to go through a lot of the things that most of these other artists had to go through. But for the most part, it is a fucked up game. And if you don't know how to reinvent yourself and use this game for what it is, then you're just gonna be stuck where you at. I mean, you are definitely not gonna be able to rap forever. You're definitely not going to be able to do music forever. Not at the capacity that you once was doing it. And for some, yeah, it may happen. I may be one of the few that still in this game and can still be relevant in so many different ways and shit like that. And I'm grateful for that. And I think part of that is for me always giving the knowledge back, especially to the younger generation, to the younger artists coming up, to the people that's seeking for the knowledge that they need to be successful in this game. I mean, for so many years, they say the game is to be sold, not told, but I've been putting all my people on the game so they can make some money too and shit like that. And I think it always comes back tenfold. You know what I mean? Above all, I've done a lot of bad, but I got a good heart, you know? And that shit comes back a lot. A lot. As you see, I'm still here. Quarantine Studios, weather show, about to have a cooking show, Vamp Fit. It's just like doing publishing, doing like
reality TV pioneer.
Reality TV pioneer, Dipset, Diplomat, Killer Jewels. Like I'm here, man. I don't think I'm going nowhere anytime soon. And I think I
always say, not to cut you off, I always say this with conversations that, you know, me and some of my friends have, you know, me and V, you know, the alumni who I get down with. I say, like, Jim, out of all of the rappers, you have probably made the most of it. And by that, I mean, yeah, there's rappers that then lasted 25, 30 years in their career, but they came into the game like yo, this is the nicest nigga in Queens. This is the top MC coming out of the Bronx. Like, it's Nas. The fact that he's here 30 years is not a surprise. We knew it. We saw it from the first verse. This is the one. This is the second coming. You know what I'm saying? My brother Buster, we knew it.
Yeah, they
you
lay
can
it out.
tell the energy.
They lay it out.
We did not know that Jim was gonna be a rapper. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know what Jim was gonna be. We knew that you was gonna be something and you was gonna get to some type of bag, but you didn't come into the game like Jim is the nicest, or some people didn't even know you was rapping at a certain point, man. And you came in, and I think out of everybody, you then took the game for the most. I gotta say it.
There's a difference between a savage and a pirate. You know what the difference is?
I want to hear your definition. I want to hear you break it down.
People think that I'm a savage and I'm really a pirate. A pirate comes and takes everything he wants. And usually a pirate lives a long life because of who he runs with and the respect that they hold with each other. And you look on that ship, it'd be a bunch of pirates going ham with all the riches in the world, but living like they want to live. They might not look like everybody else, but they got all the money like everybody else. And that's what I am. I'm a pirate. And this game ain't nothing but the waters to me. And I've been jumping on everybody's ship and taking what the fuck I want. And I'ma still do that. You did? Because I'm a pirate.
And Jack Sparrow. The Jack Sparrow of Harlem.
I'm Jack Sparrow. And it all works.
Yeah.
You heard?
How is the bro doing, man? Now, you know, we went through a couple of years with Joel's away. Dipset wasn't complete. How's he doing since he's been home? And, you know, what's the plans now that everybody is out and everybody's free to do what they want?
Joel's good. I spoke to him. I spoke to him like an hour ago, man. It's like he FaceTimed me, see what I was doing and shit like that. He was in the crib. You know, we live a few blocks away from each other, which is pretty dope and shit like that. But Joel's good. He in good spirits. His energy is up. He been doing music. Got a brand new big crib, so he been working on his studio, building that up. Been with his family, been with his kids, been getting up, doing virtual school with the kids and shit like that. So, you know, he's good. He's back home. He's in good spirits and shit like that. And he's ready to work, and he got a clear mind. And, you know, he's feeling better than he's felt in years, he says. So I'm hype. I'm excited. You know, I'll make sure I check up on him. I'll make sure, but if he need anything, I get it for him and shit like that. Like, you know, like a big brother would do. Man, so forth and so forth. I'm going to back him up in whatever you want to do. But I do know this, that he got some dope-ass music that he's about to drop. He's still on house arrest, so he can't move around like he would like to. He's finna start to shoot some videos under the circumstances he can't shoot them and shit like that. He's dope, man. You know, that's how, man. One thing about Joel's, man, he's always been a dope individual to me. You know what I mean? And in return, anything I got, I'm going to make sure that he has. But when it comes to the music, he's always been one of my favorite artists and always been one of my favorite rappers. And not because I know him, because the boy is dead nice. You know what I mean? And like I told him when he came home probably in the best time that you could come home because of everything that's going on. It feels like the whole playing field, everybody's back to playing even on the playing field because of this pandemic, and it's not too much going on. So, you know, he has a chance to really make a sting out here and shit like that. So, it's him to get his shit together and get ready to launch some music, and we gonna bomb, man. Shouts to Cam. I think he said he gonna come over here later and do some music and shit like that. He got some business here. I need to finish with Quarantine Studios and shit. So he said he gonna come over here and do it. So it's pretty good. Like it's dope. I mean, it's dope that we keep the love alive. You know what I mean? And shout out to Zeke. Zeke is in North Carolina. He got like 3-4 stores and shit like that. And he's always up here back and forth. Everybody's doing what they need to do. We all a little bit older now. You know what I mean? The love is still there. We all still Dipset. We still do the music. We still love the music. But there's a lot of other life that we all live and shit like that. You know what I mean? And I love all my brothers dearly. And we got a few surprises. Got a few capsules about to drop. We're supposed to, I say album. You dig? Like, you got a lot of dope shit. A real big album. I don't want to talk about it and shit like that. But it's executive produced by one of these dope ass young supposed to be executive produced by one of these dope ass young producers out here. I ain't gonna mention no names, but we good. We in good spirits, man. Dipset ain't going nowhere. All right, everybody cooling the gang. You heard?
When you say one of these young producers, without even mentioning names, but how does it feel to, work with somebody who came up as a fan? You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who's actually a fan of what Dipset means, of what y'all put together, and just kind of just giving you that perspective, from a fan's perspective. Man, this is maybe the direction that we want to hear y'all.
Yeah, nah, it's dope for the situation that I was in and shit like that, and for the rebuttal that I got, and just to hear that now, we'll do the whole album exactly, just run that shit down. What we get everybody like you dig. So this is dope to see the younger generation really understanding what the Dipset was all about, and to hear so many people tell us even today how we helped them, how we pushed them, how we inspired them coming up with our music and shit like that, and to see it coming back full circle was dope. It was real dope.
Are we ever gonna get a Dipset versus like Dipset G Unit, Dipset Locks, Dipset Wu Tang?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I spoke to Swiss and shit like that. I leave it up to Swiss. I mean, I would say this, man. They might have to put a couple groups together and shit like that, and put some Migos in it to do a Dipset versus. Like it's kind of hard. Like you know what I mean? Like we're a different type of group, man. Like we got Platinum Records as a group. We got Platinum Records all as solo artists. What is it? 20 records? What do you do? 5 Diplomat records, 5 Jim records, 5 Cam records, 5 Joel's records. I mean, who really want to get into that headache? You heard?
Like that, V. What you think? What's a good matchup for the set?
I think they need to do it.
You gotta do it.
Together. Yeah, keep it going for as long as they can. I mean, that's the best part of it, is seeing how long everybody's cool with each other and rocks out with each other, right? We always go to these things where people kind of dissipate. They're not together anymore. But to see diplomats still talking about being down the block from each other and going to get in the studio later together, I think that's what everybody wants to hear, right?
Yeah, it's good. We ain't going nowhere. Music is all different. Life is all different. We're a little bit older, so everything is a little bit different. But the most part is the unity and the camaraderie that's still, and the respect that we still hold amongst each other and shit like that. And the fact that we help push each other's engines and shit like that. Like if I have an idea, if I need some help with something, I know that I could use Cam's platform to always market and promote. I could use Joel's platform to always market and promote, and vice versa. If Cam is doing something and he needs me to help him pipe it up, then he know we gonna help him pipe it up and shit like that. If I got an idea for a diplomat capsule that I'm gonna put together, I'm gonna put it together. Cam gonna back it up, so nobody see no separation. You know what I mean? Like, so we fully aware of what we want to do in life. Like even with this quarantine studio platform that I've created and things like that. When first person I called was Cam and shit like that, and he was like, "Well, shit, whatever you need from me, just let me know what you need to do, and then when we gonna run it and shit like that." And that was without him even hearing exactly what it was that we were doing and shit like that. You know what I mean? And he was like, "Nah, just run it." And now he, huh?
No, go ahead.
Like I said, now in turn, he sees him. He coming over here to get a big check later because of what he's helped me created and shit like that. So it's that type of shit.
Love it, man. That brotherhood.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. You look back to 97. I mean, did you ever think you were going to make a living from all this? Did the guy in 97 think this is, this would be the business, this would be what your profession, what you did for a living when they asked you?
I don't know if this is what I thought I would be doing for a living, but I do know I would have been doing something that a lot of people would have knew who I was. And that could have been anything. You know what I mean? I'm just glad that it's this, and I'm safe and I'm sound. I'm got a roof over my head. My family ain't got a want for nothing. You know what I mean? And that was always the ultimate goal: buy my mom's a house and to live a good life. And
how is your mom doing?
She's doing good. She's chilling. She's still running around doing all type of different things. She's filming a boot camp shows for fitness or some stuff like that right now. So she's always active.
Tell her I said hello. Give her a hug.
She stays active. Yeah, I will. I will.
Oh, no.
One time I get a call from her here and there. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, it's really nice to talk to you.
Yeah, she's definitely active. Definitely. So what is this? A podcast you'll be doing for us for Double XL?
Yes, it's a podcast we do for Double XL to try and keep in touch with rappers since we can't see the office anymore. We haven't been to the office since March, so it's just I don't think we'll go back for the rest of the year. So this is how we communicate with you guys, and get you out there and stuff like that.
What else are y'all doing?
We just did Freshman. We were thinking about doing some women's related things and themes that we were trying to collaborate on with some lady rappers out there. And just trying to figure out how to stay surviving when, there's not nearly as much music as there used to be. And we're trying to follow all what you guys are doing, You guys aren't doing that much. It's pretty quiet, I must say.
You need to do more things that people can engage with. Yeah. And that's why you would need to do some business with Quarantine Studios. For the fact that we could do things that nobody in the industry could do, and we could do things that everybody in the industry could do, all in
Where
one
is
sequence.
Quarantine Studios, and what happened to the studios on Broadway?
Quarantine Studios is wherever I want it to be. It's a digital virtual space that I could do everything that a record label and a recording studio could do. Even everything that Double XL could do right here on the screen right now. I could pull my engineer on this shit right now. He could load me up. He could record if he's in China. I could do music. I could pull every artist on this shit. I could do contracts on this shit. Anything I wanted to do, I could do. I could do full virtual parties. I could do parties in virtual reality. I could do, you can name it and shit like that. There's nothing that I can't do on this platform. Is almost bone chilling. Tidal picked it up, so we're doing a big partnership with Tidal where they're creating a platform for me, so there'd be more of a distribution for me. Quarantine Studios will still be a separate entity. We're gonna start with a webpage that people can see the marriage between us, and then the media understand that Jim Jones is now doing business directly with Jay-Z. Their music platform and that music, and their ops are Spotify and all these places. Well, what Quarantine Studio have is something that Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music can't do, and that's record virtually in real time. And nobody has that attached to what they're doing. So now we're building a platform that renders services of every sort in this industry, from lawyers, publishers, producers, engineers, artists, pub administrations. We got merch. We got graphic designs. We now have a art department for artists that paint and stuff like that. We created a virtual gallery and a virtual gallery that can be seen in virtual reality and shit like that. So the platform is pretty blown out and shit like that. It's a great thing. So for somebody like Double XL that trying to figure out how to stay fully infused in the game, you got to give these kids something to do. And y'all still have the power and the law of the music because of Double XL. So you need to run some fucking contests. You need to run some challenges. You need to run a bunch of shit that could catapult you back into being something the kids want to participate in for the next 10 years. And that's only because everything can be now done in a virtual capacity.
With you to figure out how to do that.
We could talk about that, but I think you'll have a bunch of people that probably could put it together. I just provide the service. That's all Quarantine Studios is. We're just like Amazon and Uber. I could tell you a bunch of dope ideas, like what I'm doing with these mixtapes. That you see everybody do these tag artist mixtapes and shit like that. So what I've done with that, I took it to like a 3 times level. So now these mixtapes, the artists can now submit their music and their money, but they do it virtually. Where now they can talk to me. How you doing, my brother?
We didn't have French.
You know how much is it?
1508.
There you go. Thank you, my brother. Have a good one. So now these artists could get on the session virtually with me, play their music. They can hear me talk about their music, give them some advice, and boom. And now we're also doing a virtual mixtape release party where now all these artists will be given a link to send out to anybody you want to send out to. So now they can come to the virtual mixtape release party that will be DJ by DJ Drewski and Jim Jones, and playing all the records that's actually on the mixtape for all the artists and shit like that. So that's just like some of the things that we can do. When I say virtual reality, I really mean that. Like, you can put your VR glasses on, or you can just use your phone and roam through the space that we're actually holding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
there, yeah.
For Double XL, there's so many things that y'all can do. Y'all can build virtual spaces where you can now have an artist come perform, do anything, and have these kids now inside of virtual spaces with you, participating with the artist. Or Double XL can say, we're looking for the next artist. Y'all could do every 3 months, find a new artist, give them a distribution deal, pay them $10,000, $20,000, and run a program like that. And then they can actually record on virtually the records that they're going to do in Double XL's quarantine studios and shit like that. And then now Double XL can now acquire artists every 3 months that they will distribute and stream under the whole Double XL umbrella. And then you can start to create your own playlists and shit like that, which kids would be dying to be a part of, to get on this Double XL playlist, in hopes to get their shit in the top 5 slots of the Double XL playlist. Because now there's real content and footage of me recording my record for Double XL that they have, that people can now stream and see behind the scenes footage of Double XL's quarantine studio. And you understand what I'm trying to say? So you dig? It's so many things as Double XL that you probably could do that you probably wasn't doing, and change it up as just being a journalist-based program, and start to add some spice to it and run it like a fun site and shit like that. And you got all the access to all the artists. You say get a feature from one of these artists, start getting features from some of the artists that you cool with, or some of the new artists and shit like that. And then you hold that feature and you put a new artist, a contest one on that, like it's. But all this you can have in real reality and have that content to be able to stream after it's done on that real day and shit like that. So. And even with the virtual reality, once it goes up for one day, it lives forever. And people could actually go in that virtual space forever and go through the whole room and shit like that.
It's endless, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
endless.
And you'll run elaborate ads every day. And when you're coming out, the freshmen and all that shit, you'll run all these ads all through the, you know what I mean? So I don't think it'd be that much different for you to attach in some of these virtual components and giving the kids something to do, something that they want to come to Double XL for. You know what I mean? Now you maybe do independent artist Double XL cover, something separate that has to do with the music, whoever has the hottest record for 6 months and shit like that. Now this is the independent artist of the year, independent artist of the quarter and shit like that. They got the Double XL cover, independent artist of they got a brand new cover, and then people go see their story, see them recording music, and whatever record that we choose for Double XL is the single. Like this you did. You got to use it as a hub now. People that can't get the magazine and read like we used to do. There's no more nostalgic value. Everything is like we're doing now. You got to use that shit as a hub for real music and something that people can interact for for what journalists do and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, so that's it. Think about it. I'm here, but same thing. I just did something for Hypnotic. I gave them a full marketing strategy that they're going to incorporate through Quarantine Studios. I'm doing an animated series with them, but on top of that, now they're going to use Quarantine Studios to do the whole marketing strategy. I told them about. I had a meeting today with Backwards. They're going to use the whole marketing strategy that I told them about through Quarantine Studios and shit like that. And they're going to add a compilation component where do the whole thing, blow it out, artists everywhere, get the records done virtually and shit like that. Have all the content and shit for use, and you know, wherever the artist is at, put the Backwards background and shit like that. So you know, artists don't have to leave anymore. They don't got to leave their house. We don't got to go no more to go do them. Like if you need records done for mixtapes and shit like that, I could send a whole virtual pack there to them and shit like that. A whole studio in the book bag to your house if you don't even want to go to a studio in your neighborhood. I can have somebody pull up, set it up for you. All you gotta do is press 3 buttons. An engineer's gonna come on for you. You just gotta act like you're in the studio and tell them exactly what you want done. Right. So this is where I'm at with what I'm doing with this Quarantine Studio. So, you know, and if any type of thing you think we can help you with, any type of partnership, marketing strategy, anything you can use our platform for, that'd be my pleasure. You know what I mean?
Definitely keep it in mind.
Let's go, G.
But yeah, man, thank you all for the conversation.
Thank you for talking to us and everything. Congrats on everything. We look forward to seeing what's coming out of you in the studio later tonight with Jim, with Cam. Just kidding.
Yeah, well, yeah. So what I'll do is I'll send Chanel the links. Mm-hmm. I'll send the studio link, which is a Zoom link, and I'll send the virtual reality link, and so y'all can just check it out later on.
Perfect.
It's probably be around 10 or 11, but you know, if you want to come on the Zoom side, just tap it, or if you just want to look from a stalker's perspective on the virtual reality shit, that's always good too, and shit like that, because nobody can see you, but you actually can get to see the movement of what we doing and shit like that. So I have Chanel send that out to you.
For me.
That's dope. Appreciate you, my brother.
Thank you.
Have a good one.